Welcome to SS2 Christian Religious Studies. This lesson explores Christian environmental ethics, what the Bible teaches about creation and human responsibility for the natural world, and how these teachings apply to environmental challenges facing Nigeria today. The foundation of Christian environmental ethics is found in the first chapters of Genesis. Genesis 1 verse 28, God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground." This command to subdue and rule, Hebrew, Roda and Kabash, has been interpreted in two ways: dominion theology, the view that humans have absolute authority over creation to use as they please, and stewardship theology, the view that rule means responsible care and management on behalf of God, the ultimate owner. The stewardship view is now the dominant view in mainstream Christian theology. Genesis 2 verse 15, the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. The Hebrew words used here are abod, to walk, serve, and shama, to keep, guard, protect. Shama is the same word used for the watchman who guard a city. It implies active, responsible protection. This verse makes humans God's gardeners, entrusted with maintaining and protecting creation, not exploiting it. Psalm 24 verse 1, the earth is the Lord's, and everything in it. This establishes that the earth belongs to God, not to humans. Our role is stewards, not owners. Christian theology has a high view of creation, affirming its goodness and continuing significance. Genesis 1 repeats 7 times that God saw what he had made and it was good. Creation is not evil or irrelevant, it reflects God's character and glory. Romans 1 verse 20, for since the creation of the world God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made. Creation reveals God to those who observe it. Psalm 19 verse 1, the heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. Job 38-41, God's answer to Job is a tour of creation, the seas, weather, stars, animals, implying that God has intimate knowledge of and care for every aspect of the natural world. The Incarnation, the Christian belief that God became flesh in Jesus Christ, affirms the goodness of the material world. God did not consider the physical world beneath him. The future of creation, Romans 8 verses 19-22 describes creation as groaning and waiting for liberation from its bondage to decay, implying that in God's future, creation will be renewed, not destroyed. Revelation 21-22 describes a new heaven and new earth, a renewed creation rather than a pure spiritual realm. Christian environmental ethics calls for specific responses to environmental challenges. Care for creation as worship. If creation reveals God's glory, then destroying it is a form of desecration. Christian environmental action can be understood as a form of worship, caring for what God has made. The prophets on environmental destruction, Isaiah 24 verses 4-6 describes the earth drying up and withering, the world languishing, because of human sin and covenant violation. Jeremiah 2 verse 7, I brought you into a fertile land to eat its fruit and rich produce. But you came and defiled my land and made my inheritance detestable. These passages connect human sin with environmental degradation, a profound theological insight. Climate change. Many Christian theologians and organizations have engaged with climate change as a moral and spiritual issue. The Lausanne Congress on World Evangelization has called climate change a matter of justice as well as stewardship, particularly given that its worst effects fall on the world's poorest and most vulnerable people. The evangelical group Erosha, meaning the rock in Portuguese, specifically works on Christian conservation, with chapters in over 20 countries. Pope Francis's encyclical Laudato Si, 2015, on care for our common home, is one of the most significant Christian documents on environmental ethics, calling for an integral ecology that connects care for the poor with care for the earth. Nigeria faces severe environmental challenges that demand a Christian response. Oil pollution in the Niger Delta. The devastating pollution of Niger Delta communities by oil extraction has destroyed farmland, fisheries, and drinking water sources, causing severe illness and poverty in predominantly Christian communities in Delta, Bayelsa, and Rivers states. This is a major injustice that demands a prophetic Christian response. Nigerian churches and Christian civil society organizations have been involved in advocacy for Niger Delta communities. Deforestation. Nigeria has lost most of its original forest cover. The biblical prohibition on wasteful destruction of resources and the stewardship mandate call for active Christian engagement in reforestation. The Christian experience of caring for church grounds, schools, and institutions extends naturally to environmental stewardship. Urban pollution and sanitation. The filthy conditions of many Nigerian urban environments, clogged drainage, open sewage, uncollected waste, are not consistent with the biblical call to stewardship. Some Nigerian churches have organized community cleanup campaigns as expressions of Christian social responsibility. Climate and agriculture. Many Nigerian farmers, including many Christians in central and southern Nigeria, are experiencing the effects of increasingly erratic rainfall and climate disruption on their crops. This connection between climate change and agricultural vulnerability makes environmental action a concrete justice issue for Nigerian Christians. Today we covered that Christian environmental ethics is grounded in the creation mandate, Genesis 2 verse 15, work and guard the earth, Shema means actively protect, Psalm 24 verse 1, the earth is the Lord's, and stewardship theology, humans are gardeners entrusted by God, not owners. Creation is good, Genesis 1, reveals God, Romans 1 verse 20, will be renewed, Romans 8 verses 19 to 22, Revelation 21. Christian environmental engagement includes care for creation as worship, prophetic response to environmental injustice, and global issues like climate change. In Nigeria, Niger Delta oil pollution, deforestation, and climate disruption of agriculture all demand a Christian response rooted in biblical stewardship. For your essay, explain what Genesis 2 verse 15 teaches about human responsibility for creation, using the Hebrew word Shema and the concept of stewardship, and apply this to one specific environmental challenge in Nigeria.